Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And in the last video, we can learn about what is a underfitting, what is a overfitting, and what is a good fit model. But one most important question remains: why this problem happens? Yes, why this problem happens? Yes, the reason behind the underfitting and overfitting is something called a bias and variance. Yes, something like a bias and variance. In this video, we can understand what is a bias is and what is a variance is, and we see everything using a real example. Yes. And if you are completely beginner, do not worry. We are not going in advanced mathematical. Everything will simple and beginner friendly. Yes. Let's start with today's lecture. Let's take a simple real world problem. We want to predict the exam mark based on the hours of studies. Yes. First of all, we can take a input features like hours studies, and second column is we can take a output mark score. This is a simple supervised learning regression problem. Yes. Let's go further. Let's see what is a bias. First of all, what is a bias? The bias means the model is too simple. When a model is high bias, it's make too many assumptions and it's ignores the important patterns. It's oversimplified the problem. Because of this, the model perform poorly on both training and testing data. This situation is called underfitting. Yes, this situation is called underfitting. Yes. If you are not seeing my last video, then go and watch my last video and then come to watch this video. Because in a last video, I can discuss about what is an overfitting, what is an underfitting, and what is an overfitting, and what is a good fit model look like. Yes, this one. Okay. I think you can understand that what is a bias. I can repeat again. A bias means the model is too simple. When a model is high bias, it's make too many assumptions, it's ignored the important patterns, it's oversimplified the problem. Because of this, the model perform poorly on both testing and training data. Yes, this situation is called underfitting. Yes, we can also see in a practical way what is a high bias means. Yes, we can go with a further we can see with a further practical way. What is a high bias? First of all, we can import required libraries like a new numpy numpy adds np. First of all, we can see with the graph. This way we can include a matplot also. Matplot matplotlib also. Pyplot uh, plot. Okay. HPLT. Also, we can use a linear regression model. This way we can use a linear model. Yes. Wait a minute. Linear model import linear regression. Yes. Okay. And we can create our data set. We can take x is equal to from np dot we can take array. Sorry, what happened? Wait a minute. Array, we can take array of 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 6 7 to 8 till 8, and and we can resize reshape what that reshape with in a column way. We can reshape this data in a column, and next column we can take from We can create next from array. We can take 55, 20, 70, 60, 25, 65, 40. Yes. How much? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can take one more as 30. Yes. Yes, we can create our data set. We can execute this step. Let's see. It's correctly working. It's correctly working fine. And then we can create a model linear regression. We can train the model using model fit. We can take x and y, and let's see what happens. It's model are creating a model I create. Yeah. In this our data set, in this our about data set, see, there is a no relationship between input and output. Let's see here. 1 hour study, the student got a 55 mark. 4 hour study, student got a 70 mark. 8 hours study, student got 30 mark. See, you are seeing that there are no relationship between input and output. Yes, this why the fitting happen. Let's we can draw a one graph. Let's we can draw one graph for drawing. For creating a graph, we can use x line, x line, and p dot line space. We can do 1 to 8 or 100, and we can also reshape that. What the heck? Why the solution is not coming? Reshape shape that from -1 to 1, and also we can use y line and p dot. Sorry, and p dot. And also we can do y line. In that y line, we can give the model dot prediction. We can do prediction on x line. Yes, let's execute this. What happens? Yes, executing the correct way. We can add one more cell. And now we can plot that all thing. We can plot that all thing. We can scatter that x and y, and we can plot a graph. Now let's see x line, y line. Let's see what happens. See, so we can give a title also, then you can understand what we can do here. Wait a minute, I can do label on that. High bias. X label. We can do also labeling also. Wait a minute. I can do a label. Then I can explain you what happened here. Now let's see what happened. Here the data points are scattered. See here the data points are scattered. Wait a minute. Here see, here the data point are scattered here. Here, lot of data point are scattered here. Then we can use a linear regression. The linear regression tries to fit the straight line, but the but line cannot capture the pattern. Yes, we can see this in graph. Line cannot capture line cannot capture the pattern. Yes, the model is too simple for this data. This is called a high bias, and it leads to underfitting. Yes, yes, this is an underfitting. This is an high bias. This is an high bias. Yes. Yes, first I can explain the code also again. For in this code, first in this cell, we can what we can do. First of all, we can import the required libraries. First, NumPy. We can first of all we can import NumPy first, and second for creating a graph. This way we can import a matplotlib. And a third one is we can use a linear regression model. This way we can recover this library, and in this we can create some data set this using numpy, and in this we can train the model using our data set. Yes, here see we can see in this data set there are no relationship between input and output. Yes, and in this is an line, this is an best fit line we can create here. See here, and we can predict model using that best fit line. Let's see here, and here we can plot our all data here, and we can see here in this graph we can see the linear regression tries to fit the straight line, but the line cannot capture the pattern. See, this line cannot capture the pattern. This model is too simple for this data set. For this data, this is an high bias. This is called a high bias, and it leads to the underfitting. Yes, I think you can understand that what is an underfitting and what is an high bias with an practical example. Yes, and further we can see what is an variance. And variance means the model is too complex. When the model is high variance, it depends too much on a training data. Yes, it depends on too much training data. It learns the noisy and smaller details also. It's performed very well on training data, but poorly on testing data. This situation is called overfitting. Yes, I think you can also understand that what is an variance. Yes, I can repeat again. What is an variance? Variance means the model is too complex. When a model is high variance, it depends too much on a training data. Yes, it's learn noise and small details. It's perform very well on training data, but poorly on testing data. This situation is called a overfitting situation. Yes, and in above code, do not worry what we can do here. In a further videos, we can discuss about the libraries like matplots, seaborn like libraries that use for creating like that graph also. Yes, in a further video, but in this video, and see only the big picture and understand what is a bias. Yes, only. Yes. If you are not understand this code, please go and learn the basic of Pythons, then come here, then come to watch. But also we can teach in a further video what is like that libraries, matplot, what is a matplot, what is a seaborn, why we use that libraries. Yes, yes. But in a today's, let's see only what is an let's see or learn what is a bias. Yes, do not worry about coding. We can go in a further. We can I can. I can explain what I can explain that all that stuff. Yes. In a further, what is a variance? I think you can understand what is in variance. It's depend on a training data, and it's perform well on training data but poor in a testing data. This is called a variance, and this is called a overfitting situation. Yes. Let's see. Let's go with in a practical way. In a practical way, we can see what is an bias. What is an variance? Yes. For this, we can use a decision tree regressor. For that example, we can use a model that we can use scikit learn dot tree import decision tree regressor, and also use we can copy paste from this, but we can change some in a data. We can take 5, and in that we can take a 20, 50, 25, or 85, 85. How much? 1, 2, 3, 4. One more, no? Means 30. We can take 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's it. That's it. And instead of linear regression, we can use a decision tree regressor. Now, so we can run that cell. Let's see what happens. Yes. Um, it's working cell. Our model is training on that data set. And in the data set, see here also not having a proper relationship between this uh, data set. In a further, we can use same as we can copy paste from here. We can copy paste from above code. We can use instead of 1 to 5. Okay, okay. Let's see. We can run this. Yes, this cell also working properly. Let let's plot our data then. Yes, so we can copy from that from above. Just scatter. Mm, let's see here. Oh, fitting. Oh, fitting. High variance. Variance. Oh, 30 hertz. Okay, let's see what happens. Let's execute this cell. Then what happened? Let's see. This is the graph of that. Then what happened in this? Yes, look at this curve. First of all, look at this curve. First of all, First of all, look at this curve. Yes, you're seeing this curve. The model bends and twists the passes through the every point. See here. Yes, it's memorize the data instead of learning the real pattern. Yes, this is a high variance and it causes overfitting. Yes, see here. You can see in this graph the model are bending. See here. And data are memorized the training data instead of learning the pattern, real pattern. Yes, this is called a overfitting situation. Yes, do not worry about code. We can go in a further. we can discuss more. Yes, let's see only. Yes, this is called a overfitting situation and high variance situation. Yes, I think this also you can understand that what is an overfitting. Yes, and further we can go with final way. What is a good fit? This is a balance, bias, and variance. Yes. Now let's see what is a good model look like. A good model look like good model is not too simple. It's not too complex. Learns the real patterns. Work well on a new data. Yes. First of all, we can go with in a practical way. See, we can see with a practical way. We can copy paste from our code here. See, you can see, and we can change some code here. Sorry, in data set, we can take it, and now we can also change some 20, 30, 35, 45, 50, 55, 65, and 70. We can take this. Yes, and in this we can use to train model linear regression. We can use linear regression to train our model. Fit x and y. Yes, we can run this cell as our cell is running successfully, and we can train our model. And in this data set, see the relationship between input and output relationship is proper. 1 hour study, the student got a 20 marks. For 5 hours student study, they got a 45 mark. 8 hours study, they got a 70 mark. It's a proper relationship between input and output. Yes. Then we can uh, plot this line also. We can copy from above. Yes. Now we can here change some 10, 8. Okay, we can also execute this cell, and we can also plot our the graph. So we can see now what we see. Here is a good fit. Good fit. Also balance, bias, and variance. Yes, we can execute this. Let's see. Yes, here is the line. Feed the data smoothly. Let's you can see here. The models learn the patterns and also generalize the well. Yes, bias and variance are balanced here. See, this is what we want in a machine learning. Yes, this is called a good fit or balance, bias and variance. Yes, I think you can understand that what is an bias, what is an bias and variance, and also working with the real world problem we can discuss in a today's lecture. Yes, if you do not understand the code, do not worry. In a further, we can go in a further lecture. I can explain all libraries, how we can draw, how we can create that graph. Yes, all that stuff we can go in a further video. We can discuss. But today, I think you can understand what is an bias and what is an variance look like. Yes, let we can summarize all things what we can see in today's lecture. First of all, we can see what is a bias. Yes. The bias is nothing but bias means, and if the model is if the model is high bias, it's make too many assumptions. It's ignore the important patterns from the data set, and it's oversimplified the problem. Because of that, the model performance poor on testing and training data also. Yes, and this situation is called underfitting. This is called a bias. And also we can see in a practical way also what is an high bias look like. Yes. And variance means variance is a model. Variance is depends on a training data. Yes, it's depend on a training data. It's learn the noise and a small detail also from our data set. Yes, it's perform well on a training data, but poor on a testing data. Yes, this situation is called a overfitting. Yes, you can also discuss in a practical way what is an overfitting look like, and also we can see the graph also. And what is a good fit? Good fit is a balance of bias and variance. It it is this model is so good. It's not too simple. It's not too complex. It's learn the real pattern from the data set and as well as on the new data. Also, we can see in practical also, we can also see the graph. The graph. Yes, you can see here the difference between the graph. First of all, in underfitting, see the graph. In overfitting, they're overfitting all the points, and in good fitting, see here. It's aligned with the best fit line. Yes. So today we can learn what is an bias, what is an variance, and how they cause underfitting and overfitting. In the next video, we can learn how to reduce the bias and variance in a real model. Yes, if you are learning machine learning from scratch, then subscribe for more beginner friendly videos and like the channel. Let's see in a further video. Bye.